Are you struggling to get back the romance and find the fun again now that the nest is empty? Hi, I'm Carly Myers, your friendly stress management expert, and this month we are talking about sex, love, and relationships. And I brought on one of my favorite people, Jodi Silverman, to talk about this. Jodi Silverman is an author, certified life coach, speaker, and entrepreneur. Jodi believes that living your daring life, challenging ourselves outside of our comfort zones, is the most direct route to fulfillment. She has inspired thousands of women around the country to live their own daring lives through her membership community. In the Nest with Jodi digital talk show and as a professional speaker. Everything Jodi does is to support moms in discovering who they want to be, both as moms and as women during the empty nest life transition. Welcome to the show, Jodi.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell us, for those of us who don't know you, which you are not easy to forget. If you've met Jodi, you will know. But tell us, Jodi, how did you end up here? How did you end up in this line of work?
So I spent my entire career in sales. Worked in sales for corporate America and advertising, direct mail, marketing sales, transitioned to my own business of selling commercial printing. And when both my kids were in high school, I have two kids that are 4 years apart. So when my son was a freshman, my daughter was a senior, which they're now 25, 22 and 25. But when they were in high school, I quickly realized that there was more space opening up in my life, because when they enter high school and then they get their driver's license, you're kind of pushed out a little bit. So, they need their independence, they deserve it, and they have to have it. And I just started noticing that I had more time. And because of a small life event, I found myself knocked out of a community due to an injury. I play a lot of tennis and I was knocked out of that. That was a big part of my physical and social. And I started to, think about, having this print business, my kids going, and what was life going to feel like as I started getting more time. So I actually found myself asking myself a question. I asked myself, when the kids are gone, if all that's left is this business, is that enough? And it was a hard question to answer, because my first reaction was, oh my God, what's wrong with you? The answer was no, it's not enough. And I'm like, how can you feel that way? I felt all the guilt that so many of us feel, and women in particular, because I have a great husband. I have a really good marriage. I have two great kids. I live where I want to live. I don't have this life of real struggle, and I have my own business, but yet it didn't feel enough. And it didn't feel fulfilled. And when I realized it wasn't my life, it wasn't my husband, my family, my friends that wasn't fulfilling for me, it was what I was doing professionally. And I've always worked, and I always needed something to call my own. So once I really moved past the guilt, I realized that there was this nagging voice inside of me, this feeling that I wanted to do more, that there was something bigger than me waiting for me. I wasn't sure what it was. Again, that was another struggle with, well, who am I to think that there's something bigger than me out there for me?
It's like your purpose.
Yeah, right. But what it allowed me to do, answering that question and going through all the emotions with the answer of the question, it allowed me to be open to opportunities. And an opportunity came my way for a business that brought personal growth and development and coaching into my world. And that's when I decided in that moment that I wanted to go through coach training for the skills. And as I was going through the coach training, I knew that my calling, something bigger than me, was to share all that I've learned about fears and limiting beliefs and reinventing yourself with other moms who are about to enter the empty nest season of life.
That's beautiful. And you have really created this incredible experience for empty nesters, for moms, for people. I'm not even I would call myself a fur baby mom, but I'm not even a mom, and I've been following your journey and even, participating in some of your challenges. I love that you've created this experience of daring, right?
Yeah.
This dare on tagline. Now, there is this kind of side of the picture when we're talking about relationships, because that's this month's theme, which is, okay, the kids are gone, I'm rediscovering myself, but also in the busyness of life, we've kind of perhaps gotten distracted by the kids or the busyness, and now they're gone, and we've got our partner hanging out, and we're kind of wondering, at least I've heard this from a lot of my clients, what the heck do we do now? Like, do I know this person? Do I like this person? Do I want to hang out with them? Like, what do I do with this partnership post kids, post when the nest is empty?
It's a big reality of empty nest because so many of us put our kids in the center of our world, and we get caught up, especially if you have multiple children. Okay, you're part of, you take them to soccer, I'll take them to play practice, we'll get dinner, and then you pass out in bed and you forget about you forget about the partnership, you forget about your relationship with your partner. And then I was sharing this before we started that I literally sat and had coffee with a woman, and she shared with me that her kids had left. She was having dinner with, it was her husband, and they were sitting across from each other. And she looked up and she remembers thinking to herself, when did you get here? And then, you know, that panic and fear of, oh my gosh, am I in the right relationship?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, what I usually tell women is, you know, you can get through this. You know, just because you're feeling disconnected from your partner, just because you're feeling a little bit lost as if maybe you don't know each other well enough, there is a way to get that connection back and reconnect and rediscover, you know, as my friend calls it, reignite intimacy and connection within your relationship.
Yeah. It's reminding me, I just had a conversation with an old friend, probably haven't talked in 5 to 10 years. It's been a long time. And I was asking, how are her parents? And she said, you know, they're doing really great. They're traveling more. They're doing all of this stuff. And she said, I have to be honest, I was kind of worried because she was the older sibling. So she, you know, left to go to college, and then she did her own thing. She's working, and then her younger sister left, went to college, and is now out of college and is more established. And she was like, I was worried that what are my parents gonna do? Because she heard that divorce rates can skyrocket once the kids leave. And so I'm really excited for you to share some of your tips today, because I think that is the power, the possibility, the knowing that this disconnection the connection can be rekindled, that that we can go to the next level. It's not like, oh crap, who's this person? And that's it. So what do you recommend?
Look, I'll share with you. My daughter has made comments. You and dad have a busier social life than I do. That's not fair. I'm like, we're doing it right. So yeah, so I do have 3 tips that, you know, I feel, and the first tip is going to sound like counterproductive to what we're talking about, because the first tip is I truly believe you can find something just for you. Each of you can have a hobby or something that you enjoy doing. For example, my husband's a golfer and I am all about tennis. We check in with each other to plan our time on the course and on the courts to make sure it doesn't interfere with our time together. So the first tip is have your own interest, but check in with each other to make sure you're respecting your time together so that one of you isn't feeling like, well, I guess golf's more important than me, or tennis is more important. So have your own thing, but check in and coordinate it together. My second tip would be to sit down with your partner and start reminiscing and reflect on things you used to do when you dated. And you can take out old photo albums, because I'm of the demographic, we still have photo albums. Yes, we do. I'm working on scanning. But sit down and start talking about, remember, my husband said he loves live music. Do you remember when we used to just like go to a bar and listen to a band? Maybe it was riding bikes together. I know another couple that I actually hosted on my show, she and her husband discovered cooking together again. And now they cook together. So reflect on the things that you used to enjoy doing before kids. And when one of those things resonates, try it together. Try it again and see if you still like it. And then my third and final tip I have to share, I stole it from my girlfriend who is also a coach. I love this tip, but I've done it. You plan a day swap. So I can tell my husband, I did it with my adult child. I really haven't done it with my husband yet, but we just talked about it. So ask your partner, plan a day that you would fully enjoy, all the things you would like to do in a day. And I'm going to come along. And just insert yourself into their day. So for example, my husband loves to golf. The last time I sat in the golf cart and enjoyed a golf course with him was on our honeymoon 28 years ago. So that might be his choices. When we go away, I want you to, instead of staying by the pool, come and share golf with me and share your day. And it's a great way to really get insight into why this particular activity lights your partner up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you never know, you might enjoy it as well. And you're paying attention to each other. You're really showing an interest in each other's lives. And I know I mentioned this, just want to throw it in. It's a great way to feel reconnected as a mom, a dad, a parent in your adult child's life if they move away from home too.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's funny. I think about how, so my partner is a musician, and his band and him, they practice in my basement. So as you can imagine, I hear the same songs over and over and over again to the point of driving me crazy. Love you, babe. Like if he's listening to this, but it's, you know, I have to share that for a while, I didn't go to any of his live shows. And I think it was like a year I didn't go to. I was like, I've heard the songs 1,000,001 times. I'm good. And I went to one of his shows and enjoyed the night with him. And quite frankly, I was looking at my partner on the stage and I was like, oh, he's sexy. He's mine. Like I saw him in his element, in that great energy, and it completely shifted. I may not like the live music scene so much. I don't drink, none of that. But seeing him in his element was just a great way to rekindle or even strengthen
Yes.
our energetic connection. So I love this example so much.
Yeah, it's my favorite one.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So we want to know, for those of you who are listening, what have you tried personally? What have you and your partner tried to reconnect? And has it worked? Let us know in the comments below. Now, I want to know, are you feeling overworked and exhausted? If you are, I've got some good news. The Stress Less Company works with leaders, high achieving CEOs, business owners, managers, just like you, to find that sense of peace and freedom that they desire. And as a result of our work together, they learn how to properly manage their time, tasks, and energy so that they can experience more free time, efficiency, and prosperity. Sounds pretty good, right? Well, if this sounds great to you, what you can do is apply for a complimentary stress less assessment to start the conversation today about working together. Visit stresslessco.com/apply for more information and to apply. This concludes this episode of the Stress Less Show. And I want to give one last big shout out to one of my favorite people, Jodi. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Carly. I enjoyed every minute.
Absolutely. So if you are listening and you enjoyed this week's episode, let us know by giving us a big old thumbs up and hitting that follow or subscribe button. Thanks for listening. Share if it resonated, and we will see you next week. Bye.